Terraforming Mars? Elon Musk has the opinion that we need to form a sustainable human colony on Mars to provide a backup of humanity in case some disaster overtakes the Earth. This is probably not as outlandish as it may first sound. While we take our home planet largely for granted, there are plenty of things whizzing around in space that could impact Earth enough to either actually destroy it or to screw up our living conditions such that it's effectively destroyed for humans. It's happened in the past, and it could happen again. Or we might even do it ourselves in a nuclear temper tantrum or just by neglect. Why Mars? Well, our moon is essentially a dead world and could also be adversely affected by an Earth-ending catastrophe since its orbit is tied to our planet. We don't want the moon just wandering off into space. Venus is searingly hot with a noxious atmosphere and pressures at its surface roughly equivalent to being 3,000 feet underwater. Mars is not exactly hospitable either, with a thin, unbreathable atmosphere of mostly carbon dioxide. Almost all carbon dioxide, in fact. It's also very cold, with an average temperature of around minus 60 degrees Celsius. So we're talking about Antarctic levels of cold. It can be milder at times than the Martian equator, above freezing certainly, but this average is certainly not hospitable. However, Mars once appears to have had a more robust atmosphere and also liquid water. At some point in the distant past, the Martian magnetic core became much weaker, with the consequence that the atmosphere slowly leaked away into space. Planets with a core like Earth and Mars can produce a magnetic shield or magnetosphere around them, which deflects many of the sun's more harmful rays and solar wind, and allows the atmosphere to stay in place. This feature is now almost non-existent on Mars. If we are truly going to try and colonize Mars as humanity's second home, we would need to try and restore some level of a more friendly atmosphere which would raise the average temperature and at least give plants a fighting chance to grow. If you recall from high school science, plants breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen, which is handy for us since we do the opposite. Also, we can eat plants. It's a win-win. So can we do this? Colonize Mars, I mean. How would you even start? Here's where it gets more science fiction-y. First, we would need to fix the weak Martian magnetosphere. Some years ago, a panel of really smart NASA scientists decided that by, quote, positioning a magnetic dipole shield at the Mars L1 Lagrange point, an artificial magnetosphere could be formed that would encompass the entire planet, thus shielding it from solar wind and radiation. Easy peasy, right? I think we should probably file that under the easier said than done category, but it shows that people are thinking about this and there are possible solutions. I mean, it sounds like a monumental task, but so was building the pyramids and that got done. If augmenting the magnetosphere can actually be accomplished, it would mean the stabilization of the existing Martian atmosphere, and it should make it more possible to actually try to engineer it into something more useful to humans by terraforming. In this case, the goal is to thicken up the existing atmosphere and raise the average temperature of the planet. The current thinking is that by doing some of the bad things that we already do on Earth, we can invoke a man-made climate change on Mars, so to speak, and cause a greenhouse effect, which in this case would be beneficial from our point of view. This is not a quick fix by human standards. Even though Mars is smaller than Earth, it will likely take hundreds of years to start seeing meaningful changes. So, not like the 1990s Total Recall movie, where the alien terraforming machines produces breathable air and puffy white clouds and an azure Martian sky in less than 10 minutes. No. Is this all really possible or feasible? I would say probably yes, more than 50-50. Since we can do great things if we put our minds to it. Will we? Well, if we don't destroy ourselves on Earth in the interim, I'd say possibly yes. Less than 50-50. I hope I live to see the first humans land on Mars. It would give me more hope for the continuation of our species. Any future Martians may even consciously try to not screw up society the way we seem to have managed here at home. Who knows?